Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
Sam, Chef Chow.
Hi, Captain Chown.
How's your afternoon in Pensacola?
Good. It's been busy this morning. How about yours?
Busy, full of briefs, just like the standard Friday.
Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes? Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
Oh,
Hi, sir. How are you? Captain Dahl, that was you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you were coming
Seems
broke.
my speaker function's not working well.
Gotcha. All right, sir. Got you marked down.
Okay.
Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
hey, it's Captain DeMoss.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing, Sammy?
Good. Thank you.
Hey, Sam, it's Brian.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks. Welcome to the ESG. Can I please get your name for the minutes?
Captain Jones.
Hi, sir. How are you? Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes?
Yep, Captain Joe Montes.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good, good.
Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes?
Hey, Sammy Flo.
Hi, sir. How are you?
All right, how you doing?
Good. Thanks.
Hey, Sammy, you still there?
Yes.
Hey, Flash may be down in the lake. He's either in the airport or headed this way or something. I don't know if you got his note.
I do. I do. Thank you.
Hey, Sam, Captain Rodriguez here, Vice, and the Admiral will be in a minute or so. Over.
Raj. Got you, Vice. Thank you. Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes, please?
Yeah, Commander Burns.
Oh, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, JR, this is Trent. I think whenever the Admiral shows up, we just go ahead and get started. Sounds like we got pretty much about everybody already.
Copy, thanks, Trent. Just a few more seconds.
Yep, no worries.
Captain West, Josh Wade, and Captain Select Belmont.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
H. Snyder, I just dialed in.
Gotcha, Skipper. Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes, please?
Commander Hersey.
Congratulations, sir. Thanks for calling in. Welcome to the ESG. Can I get your name for the minutes?
Kevin Biddle.
Hey, KB.
What's on it?
Captain Demas, Captain Rodriguez, I've got 4 members on board and 15 captains for your SA.
All right, hey, Sam, let's go ahead and get through some of the administrative notes and stuff, and then when the Admiral comes in, we'll just have him jump straight on.
Hey, Trent, Admiral's on board now.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. Take a couple minutes of your time. I know you have a pretty lengthy agenda to get through today. JR, Trent, thanks. So first of all, congratulations to Jimbo, to Rob, Paul, Clem, Mark, and John. And I hope, Jimbo, are you on?
Sir, I am.
Congratulations to you. Rob, are you on?
Yes, sir, I'm up.
Okay, great. Congrats, Rob. Paul, are you up?
Well, sir, Tony Jaramillo here. Just calling in. You want me to grab Paul and Mark? Is that what you?
Well, I'll let. Yeah, I mean, I thought. Yeah, absolutely. They're.
I think they're right here because we just came out of an AOM. Hang on one second, sir.
Okay. Yep. And then John, are you up?
Sir, I'm here.
Okay. Yep. Congratulations, John. So, anyway, just to you guys, just look, a lot of great competition. You all know everybody has visibility on who's up, who's in zone, who are the eligible players, and I'll just tell you, if you need to talk as a group together, continue to coach and mentor. We're really happy with and proud of the 6 of you. Congratulations. And to the others that didn't select, I would tell you, don't take the pack off. Keep charging. Keep after the hot jobs there, and keep contributing to readiness. And that's really all I want to say there. Any thoughts or questions? And again, to all of you, welcome to the what will be your first of hopefully many Friday afternoon ESG phone calls. The expectation now of you is that you pull your weight and you become part of the 06 boardroom who run and control this community. Somebody go on mute. There's a hot mic out there.
I believe that's me, sir. I was coughing. Clem.
It's Clem.
All
Yes, sir.
stations go to mute, please. Thanks.
Okay. Congratulations, Clem. Stay on mute.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I was. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Hey, just a heads up. I think everybody knows by now. You guys have probably talked about it. I'll just. We're going to go down to one slate per year. It's going to be in September this year, so up for grabs. We have a lot of things in place. So clearly, PMA 260 will be on the next slate. These are just the ones that I highlighted as 15, 20-esque, if you will. FRC Southwest, West, and Mid-Atlantic, and then for the 05s, FRC Northwest, and TCMA at Sugi. So keep talking that up amongst the team here, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good candidates put in for those commands. The 05 screen and slate, I believe, to be out. So congratulations, some really good names going to some really fun places. So I think we're in really good hands there. And the last thing I have, and then I'll open it up to you all for questions, is so this to the new captain. So this is your, or the captain selects. This is your first. This is Captain Rodriguez's last, and he's been on many. In fact, he probably has his ESG Centurion patch. But look, JR doesn't need any. Very easy to talk about him. I could kill this whole hour and a half talking about all his accomplishments. I will just say this, is that easily one of the top onesies, twosies, handful of influential AMDOs that ever suited up for in our community. Clearly, tremendously positive impact. down and in the community, and then up and out. And then I would just tell you, and each of us know that is when you have somebody who's as hardworking, as smart, and as loyal as he is, and I'll circle the word loyalty. He defends this community. He cares deeply about what other people think, what the URL community thinks about our community, always has. He is that way with ComFRC, how we're thought about, how we're viewed, the branding that comes into place, because that's a big deal. It's the X's and O's and the blocking and tackling, and then it's also, that stuff is all for naught unless people outside of our community look in and ask for AMGOs by name. And then in this case, being a part of the ComFRC family, trying to really work on the image, the substance, and then the image of ComFRC and the FRC enterprise writ large. He will be deeply and sorely missed. The good news is that there is a bit of J.R. Rodriguez in all of us, some more than others. So his legacy lives on through us. And I would just say, I think Trent will take over chairing this. Trent and JR have already started a pass down for the vice commander, so Trent obviously still in command another couple months, and then we'll be up here after a little break and a trip up north as the vice commander, and then the lead of this ESG. So I'm gonna stop there. I hope a lot of you will be in town the 25th of April up here at the VFW in Southern Maryland, and we are going to have a big and fun event there, and we will honor formally and informally JR, Deb, and Team Rodriguez on that day. So JR, just because this is the last opportunity in front of this war room, quite none better. And thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for your loyalty. Thanks will never be enough. And like I said, I could go on for forever. It just seems like it's every little group that we're with, it's a farewell there, and we will do, like I said, a formal recognition. I'm hopeful if anybody can travel up here because you have business and tie it to that date, that would be appreciated. If you're already up here, please clear your calendars and please plan to join us on that day. Let me stop there. Questions, comments for me before I head out. And don't, if you have something that's on your mind with anything that's happened here recently, I'll just say the NSS, you can all talk about it here, but I will tell you, it was a pleasure to be out in Monterey a couple weeks back with Flash and with Jeff Chown, because this is all hands on deck. This isn't just about FRC reform. It's the O-level reform. It's the AOG. It's the MOC. It's all that connective tissue that ties together. So I will tell you, it just, and I don't think it's just by chance that since we broke from that Spear workshop in Monterey, that the numbers, and I'll knock on wood, they were at 303 this morning, but the mission capable EFs have been in the high 200s, low 300s for about the last week to 10 days, and that's been positive to see. So clearly not declaring victory. We have a long way to go. April and May, big jumps in those months, and then you can hear, if you were on the XCOM call today, you heard Pinto, the Commodore up there Northwest, saying, hey, add growlers to this, and then the discussion of every TMS should look like the top two at the Admiral Gahagan. A lot of work for all of us, because all of us are in that in some way, shape, or form, whether you're pushing the schoolhouse, whether you're working the budget up at OpNav, whether you're in the Tiger staff, whether you're in the FRC family, the sustainment command that we're standing up here in NavAir. It doesn't matter your post. You play a big role in this whole transformation, and I thank you for the great work there. It's making a difference, and make no mistake about it. The most critical designator in this whole transformation is us, bar none, because of our influence in all of those reform efforts. So thanks for the great work there. I'm going to shut up and turn it over to you, Trent, unless there's any questions.
All right, are there any questions for the Admiral? All right, Admiral, if I may, Tony here. So I do have Mark Farnsworth and Paul Schultz in the room, and if I could just make a general announcement. The Admiral and I had the privilege of attending the Sailor of the Year award at the Pentagon up there, and my LS1 Cindy Johnson was selected as Shore Sailor of the Year for the entire Navy. Certainly very proud of her, and that's great for the whole FRC family that we had a sailor go that far and actually win it. And so I'll then now be quiet and turn it back over to Trent. Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, Tony. That's awesome. Hey, JR, so before we start on the admin comments, JR, are you going to be able to be online the whole time, or do you got to get off?
I am not. I am unfortunately or regrettably have a physical and medical move my schedule, so I got another 10 minutes and then I got to depart.
All right, so while we got you, JR, over to you if you got any comments for the group.
No, appreciate it, Trent. Admiral, appreciate the kind words. Obviously, those things I think are an embodiment of what you and I have done over the past years together, and I think as a community, we see a lot of that happening in all pockets of where we man up. And I think that's a very critical thing to take away: respect, loyalty, the passion. Those are huge. You guys. I mean, I'm not going to stand up here and talk for all this. I am honored, humbled, and privileged to have served with all of you, either directly or indirectly. Our reputation is what we make it. Our credibility is what we make it. But more so, the respect and the loyalty we have for each other, regardless of who we work for, is going to, in the end, make us the community that we are, who we are, and define us to that end. So, thank you again. I look forward to the continued relationships. Just because you cross over the bridge doesn't mean that, you're excommunicado or anything. But so please reach out. I'll be hawking from the shadows, if you will, and probably putting bugs in folks' ears on why we did this and why are we doing that. So, but that's just me. I love this community. I love all of you. And thanks. JR out.
All right, man. Hey, thanks. And just so everybody knows, part of the turnover with JR and I is also his house and all of his furniture. So, JR, please make sure you clean up everything. And if that mattress is a mess, man, get it off the bed.
Copy that, brother.
All right. Hey, Sammy, over to you. Let's get kicked off.
Copy, sir. Will do. Admin notes, just as a reminder, enclosure 1 of the agenda has the retirement flyer for Captain Rodriguez. And a little bit of a plug for AMCOT. This year, ZAMCOT will be from 10 to 14 June, be held at Fleet Readiness Center, Mid-Atlantic, at Norfolk. Also attached is enclosure 3. It's the 2018 agenda, and that is to serve as a reference only for essay and flow for those who will be briefing this year and for any attendees.
Yeah, and on that one real quick, so Nate, obviously over to you for getting the agenda going and getting everything lined out with the SAM. And then obviously since we're moving to the East Coast this time down in Norfolk, Jeff Chown and his folks there at Airland will be big players in that as far as being able to make sure that some folks are available and then also work out any kind of ship arrangement. So Nate, look forward to seeing what the agenda is on that. So appreciate you and Sam taking the ball and running. All right, Sam, you got anything else?
No, sir. Ready to begin.
All right. Hey, so real quick, obviously, turnover with JR and I, this will be my first one as far as sitting in at the senior level. Never thought I'd say that I'm the old guy in the room, but it kind of happened to all of us, I guess, somewhere along the way. So for the new folks, the Captain Selects, welcome. I know you got nothing better to do on a Friday afternoon, but this is what we'll be doing on a pretty regular basis, so welcome to the wardroom for the ESG. Obviously, with JR, thanks for everything, man. It's been a good turnover, a good couple weeks trying to get stuff lined out, so I appreciate you taking the time and helping me through that. And then obviously, Admiral, for your time and sitting in with us for a few minutes to give us kind of a point of reference for things. So I think with that, we will get started with OCM and Brian. on board.
Good afternoon, Admiral. Good afternoon, Captain, and congratulations to the Captain Selects out there. Current inventory for captains, we're right on par of where we're supposed to be. Commanders, we're +1. We have an outstanding retirement, someone on terminal leave. Lieutenant Commander, we've held steady at a deficit of 25. Lieutenants, we're at a deficit of 9. And Lieutenant JG, we're +11. And Ensign, we're right on the mark at 25. With the captain results that were released this week, I want to take the opportunity to explain merit reorder a little bit further. It will impact every statutory promotion board. The process essentially is that the board will identify officers selected for promotion as it normally and historically has been. Then a separate tank will occur with the same board membership. They will convene to review, grade, and discuss those selectee records using the merit reorder values and the convening order for guidance. As we saw, Captain Select Farnsworth was reordered. On the naval message, it's indicated with an asterisk. So you can go down the message from the different communities and you can see who and how many were reordered. An individual or individuals can only be reordered if a majority vote recommends it. There is no minimum reordering requirement. However, the maximum is 15%. It is an acceptable result to have no reorders and just have the result come out in lineal order. Now, with all of this, there is a change to the phasing plan, although for us it's going to be difficult, particularly at the captain level. Phasing plan now is 15% will be promoted in October instead of the normal 3%. Then it will continue at 3% per month until September, when the remaining selectees will then be promoted. Board statistics for this most recent captain board is a total of 58.33% were selected, with 20% of eligibles coming from the above zone, or 20% of the selections coming from the above zone, excuse me, and 41.67% coming from the in-zone eligibles, and no below-zone selections were made. That is all I have for today. I'm standing by for any questions.
All right, anybody got anything for Brian? All right, Kevin, you're up, detailer.
Hey, good afternoon, Admiral, captains, and again, another congratulations to the new captains. Welcome to the ESG. I just want to piggyback on, I know the Admiral mentioned the ACSB names, 8 people plus the 2 bonus. That's obviously been blessed by Admiral Zarkowski and also been blessed by my boss, Admiral Select Bays. Next step is up to the air boss for final approval. Expect that in a week or 2. We still have to wait for the commander board to confirm 4 out of those 8 choices, and after that we'll go forward. Just a note for reliefs for retirees. When looking at reliefs for officers that are retiring, realize the only thing the command is obligated to provide them is the 20 days of household goods and job hunting leave. The PRD that's established is the month of final retirement date. As a detailer, I'm doing my best to find an appropriate relief, especially if retiring at the PRD. If you're leaving earlier than the PRD, the Mills-Persman 1810-020 requires up to a full year to work for the relief. If that officer is already notified that they got orders or that they've already been communicating with the detailer, retirement requests will not normally be approved after such notification until you get to the new command. Again, I've had at least 3 of these types of issues come up in the last month, so just making sure everybody's on board and what's going on. Items of interest, and these are just key moves coming up, just to refresh everybody's memory. We got Lieutenant Commander Kraft going to relieve Martinson as CAGMO at CAG 7. Lieutenant Commander Jack Det to relieve Gardapi at AIMD Det Sigonella this month. Lieutenant Commander Williams to relieve Fisher at CAG 17, 1905. Commander Ryan will now relieve Commander Thompson at FRC Southwest Det Point Magoo around 1906. Should be there. Commander Pico to relieve Commander Edge at CBN 75, 1906. Lieutenant Colonel Ryan is going out to fill the XO job at FRC Westpac in June of 19. And Commander Birdie's already been out there, TAD and stuff, but he'll officially be out there beginning of next month after his school's over. Commander Edge will relieve Bernie Calamug at CSG 15 in 1907. Any questions on upcoming moves? Okay. Lastly, some concerns, just to go over some more things. As the OCM already alluded, we still have a delta of 25 lieutenant commanders. We have 6 more lieutenant commanders to retire in FY19. 6 more are scheduled in 20, and 2 more are already talking about retiring in FY21. We have 4 lieutenant commanders that are 1 or 2 time FAs. I expect the crystal ball, still a little fuzzy, but I expect after the commander board that 3 of those will probably be gone by December of 19, rounding out the FY20 to probably 9. We're still filling 4 LDO 04 department head billets on ships and CAGMOs. We have 3 AMDOs still facing legal issues, 2 AMDOs still limb due, and our latest billet inventory, we still have 20 vacancies across the AMDO inventory. Barring any questions, that is all I have, sir.
All right. Anybody got anything for Kevin?
Hey, KB Vice here. So let's get together, sync up you, Captain DeMoss, and myself. I want to go through the proposals for orders for the 06s where we need to plug up the JPO, OpNav N83, and ComFRC N42. So I'll reach out to Trent this weekend, but let's have a sync up, and I also have the nomination for the next aide. Over.
Roger that, sir. That's great news.
Yeah, hey, and JR, I get up there Monday late afternoon, so maybe even Tuesday morning we could probably do it as well.
Perfect. We'll do that. So Kyle and I did through we went through the runs today, and just had the Admiral do a piece on it. We liked it, but we owe him a final product. So yeah, we'll wait till you come up.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
Captain Kyle Parsons here, staying with the OCM. Again, congratulations to our 06 Select. I am now your detailer, and as Captain Rodriguez said, we've got some preliminary things, but we run it through more senior leadership. I will be sending out an introductory email to you all probably in the next week. If you want to already, please mark your calendars for August 14th and 15th. That will be a new 06 aviation acquisition training. It will be at the DAU here in California, Maryland by here at Pax River. That's all I have today.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Hey, all right, so before we get off to 2 of the piece, the AMCOT piece, for Nate or Sam, is there anything that, I know you're just getting started, but is there anything from the group here that you need to talk about for that agenda or prepping for it?
Sir, the only thing I have right now is just working the briefer piece. I'm working with Captain Chown on that, and basically looking at the previous agenda and who would be available to do those briefs, to come in and do those briefs for us. And that's pretty much the way ahead there. We're working it now just so we can stay ahead of the game.
Roger.
Over.
Thanks. All right, and Jeff never did get on, did he? Captain Chown?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Cool.
As far as chip piece goes, Trent, we're working that. There is only going to be one choice, and with it being here in Norfolk, we do have a ship identified, but there will be one choice that week that we're having it, and we'll Mo out on that boat, and we see his bright, shiny little face.
Roger.
Go from there.
All right, sounds good.
Hey Trent, Nate's back on. I got knocked off. Did Sam answer your questions? I didn't have anything early in the call for our meeting there. I think just look forward to the support and getting it done. So appreciate it.
Yep, no worries. And yeah, we got everything answered. There wasn't really anything. Just making sure that everybody understood that was, coming through you at CNAT, and you and Sam would be honcho on that, and then since it's on the East Coast, it would be going with Jeff Chown as far as helping work out the agenda and the briefers. So I think we're good.
All right, thanks.
All right, man. All right, so we got 2 briefs to go. So the first one is Chris Couch. Chris.
All right, thanks, Trent. Afternoon, Admiral and team. If you take a look in your email, hopefully you should see that Sam sent you version 24 yesterday. That's the most up-to-date paper. If you don't have it, we'll get it to you. During the 06 training, I briefed you last time the construct of the paper. I'm not going to get into that today. Today, instead, we're going to move on into the discussion. We're going to take a look at the 12 options that the team took a look at to resolve the gaps between community OPA, inventory, and billets, including at the lieutenant commander pay grade, which is what really kicked off the paper initially. You take a look in that paper when you get a chance. At pages 5 and 6, the 12 options are listed, and they are option 1, more aggressive accession planning; option 2, billet roll down; option 3, transfer unfunded billets to other communities; option 4, merge communities; option 5, request for OPA; option 6, activate reservists; option 7, remove ESO's requirements; option 8, enforce more stringent detailer adherence to inventory distribution requirements; option 9, fill vacant AMDO billets with members from other communities; option 10, change the thing for junior officers from 3 to 2 years; option 11, offer targeted continuation bonuses; and option 12, which is do nothing option. Of course, is always a possibility. I don't think there's anything new in any of those 12 options. We've talked about each and every one of them at some point in the past in the community's history. But what is different here is that a team is all 12 of these options into consideration and we talked about them. There's a table of pros and cons for all 12 options that's shown on page 6. You get a chance to take a look at that on and now, kind of help you understand what we took as a team at each of those options.
Hey, Chris, real quick before you go on. Hey, it sounds like somebody's on a cell phone. So if you're on a cell phone, could you check and make sure it's on mute?
Trent, they must not be aware.
Yeah. All right. All right, Chris, go ahead and try again, man.
All right. Each option the team took a look at, we explored 3 things: the process to execute, the considerations about how to execute, the impacts to the community for executing each option, and you'll see that in the pages from 5 all the way up to about 27. When you take a look, you'll see the community pyramid, length of service charts, and the summary tables, and that will kind of help you understand graphically what were the impacts of each of these options on the community inventory, OPA, and billing. So starting with option 1, which was aggressive accession planning, that's discussed on pages 6 through 8, the team determined that a few additional bodies of lower pay grades are gained, and you can see this in figure 6.1 on page 7 and table 1.1 on page 8. The team recommends the community pursue this option. Option 2, which is the billet roll down, is discussed on pages 8 through 11. The team determined that this option does match overall OPA to inventory to billet by distributing gaps between OPA inventory and gaps from lieutenant commander pay grade down to lower pay grade. And you can see that in figures 3.1 and 4.2 and table 1, 2, all of them on page 10, and the team does recommend to pursue this option. Option number 3, which is transfer billets, is discussed in pages 11 through 13. The team determined this option does match overall OPA to inventory to billet, but does not result in the correlative shift we talked about in the previous option, option number 2, between the lieutenant commander pay grade and the lower pay grades. You can see this on figures 3, 2, and 4, 3 on page 12, and in table 1, 3 on page 13. Additionally, impacts to other communities and associated funding challenges are likely to make this optional non-viable. Therefore, the team does not recommend the community pursue this option. Option number 4, which is merge the communities, is discussed in pages 13 through 19. The team determined there's not a great difference in the OPA inventory or billet shortfalls between the individual communities and the combined communities. This can be seen by comparing figures 3, 3.5, and 3.6 and tables 1, 1.6, and 1.7 on pages 2 and 3 and 16 through 19. The team does not recommend the community pursue this option. Option number 5, which is more OPA, is discussed in pages 19 and 20. The team determined that changes to figures 3 and 4 and table 1 on pages 2 and 3 would be similar to the changes that we talked about for option 2 for figures 3, 1, and 4, 2, and table 1, 2, all on page 10. The team recommends we do continue to pursue this option. Option number 6, activate reservists, is discussed in pages 20 through 22. The team determines that this option has no impact to the community's OPA, inventory, or billets. Also, involuntary recall would not guarantee receiving officers with desired recent and relevant experience and skills. The team does not recommend the community pursue this option. Option number 7, which is reevaluate the ROC, PO, and MF&Ts for all the organizations that are out there for which we fill billets. That's discussed in pages 22 and 23. The impacts to community OPA inventory billets would be similar to the changes we talked about for option 2, which was the roll down option. However, the team does not recommend the community pursue this option because they have too many unknown factors at this point to be able to consider it as a viable way to go. Option number 8, which is enforce inventory distribution rules, is discussed in pages 23 and 24. The option does not change community's OPA inventory or billets. The positive or negative impacts of this option are difficult to predetermine because of people's individual decisions. So the team recommends the community first complete action 1, which I'm going to discuss momentarily before we talk about pursuing this option. Option number 9, which is use LDOs or FTS to fill vacant ambulances, is discussed in pages 24 and 25. This option has no impacts to community's OPA inventory or billets. However, it will allow for fleet requirements to be met for previously vacant billets. Therefore, the team recommends the community continue to pursue this option. Option number 10, which is change tour length, is discussed in pages 25 and 26. The team determined that changing tour lengths does not change community's OPA inventory or billet. However, it does give flexibility to detailers and PERS just approved distribution planning guidance that allows them to be affected. Nevertheless, the community does not recommend the community pursue this option. It does not approve gaps in community OPA inventory or billets. Option number 11, continuation bonuses, is discussed in pages 6 and 27. Again, the team determined that this option will affect community OPA inventory or billets. Recommends the community not pursue this option. And the last option, number 12, the do nothing option, is discussed in page 1. The team determined that continuing the same trend shown in figure 2 on page 2 native. Therefore, the team does not recommend this option. From these options, the team recommended 5 actions. On page 28. Summary of those responses for each of the 5 actions shown on page 30. 5 actions.
Chris, stand by, please. 1. Hey, everybody besides Chris, please check your mutes that you muted. Thank you.
Okay. Again, the 5 actions are number 1. In addition to tracking actual OPA and inventory over time on figure 2 on page 2, the community should begin tracking inventory distribution over time. This additional trend line would provide a quality metric to determine the effectiveness of the detailing process. Action number 2, move the community managers to Millington. This would hypothetically improve accession planning through increased access and opportunity to the other communities and all the opportunities that get discussed. Action number 3, review and update the mentorship instruction with better guides and tools for senior AMDOs to employ. I know we did that recently, but we talked about the fact that we've been learning through some of these options that have been ongoing for a while, that there's some things that we could probably do. That's a separate discussion for that instruction. Action number 4, continue to create TD periods for prospective candidates to shadow current community members. And action number 5, the last, pursue option 1, which is aggressive accession planning. Option 2, billet roll down. Option 5, more OPA. And option number 9, which is use FTS for LDOs and vacant billets to restore parity between OPA, inventory, and billets for the community. There are small wins in each of those 4 options, but no option, none of those 4 in of itself, will resolve all gaps between the community's OPA, inventory, and billets. And as you probably already figured out, the community's been doing all 4 of those things along the way. So the summary of it all is that the recommendation from the team is to continue to do that and do more of it. That's all I have today, Trent, pending any questions or comments.
Yeah, so no, it's a lot of stuff, and there's a ton of information in there. So for you and the entire group that worked on that, it's a great job getting it all put together and then coming out with some actionable type things. I guess the first question I would have to probably Kevin and to Brian, and then I'll see if anybody else has got any comments. But the reality is a lot of the actions and possible options are with stakeholders outside of the community. So I'm just kind of curious on things that involve the Airland Airpack manpower side and BSOs. Is there any appetite right now for a community looking to restructure?
Sir, this is Brian. We haven't specifically spoken to the BSOs or Airland Airpack as of yet. Depending on what is determined by community leadership, we can then start engaging that. Just on the surface, looking at TIPMs, there has been some billet trade-offs for some necessary things, but that's more along the lines to gain people, for example, at the JSF wing and NAMC. But we haven't engaged them yet about a billet roll down on the tone of, say, 30 plus billets.
Copy, okay. All right. Anybody got any questions for Chris and the team? All right, hey Chris, so we'll get you some feedback here in the next little bit on talking with not only the Admiral, but with probably a smaller group on, is there an option that is better than another one, or is there one of the groups of actions that are better than the other ones that we want to see, to have Brian and Kevin start doing a little legwork with the BSOs on movement forward. So again, great job getting this all together. Unfortunately, I think it's one of those, it's probably going to go on for a duration. This has been a conversation for a long, long time, so there's probably no quick and easy answer to it. But don't think it's lost on the amount of work it did, the amount of work it took you to get it all together.
Copy, no worries.
All right, man. Hey, all right, so if there's no questions on that one, then we'll move to the final one here, which is, I think, Tony and the 04 Milestone Department Head Screening Board.
So to the team and there, Trent, we discussed this at the OSEC meeting that we had, and I thought I kind of articulated it, and so if there's feedback on this, maybe I wasn't clear, but certainly with the initiative that we just got in the brief and the different colas from Chris Couch and the team, I felt it's prudent that we did not move forward with any type of trying to do any department head screens that could possibly whittle out the individuals that we have at that rank. I thought we all agreed on that, but we can have a discussion if we disagree, and if we think there's an appetite to move forward. I would say that we should probably wait to see what we want to do with these options, and then look at how we could best pick the best and most fully qualified department heads. Does that make sense to all?
Yeah, so I think you're right, Tony. I think this was one that we did make a preliminary decision that it was not the right time to do something like that. So is there anybody that feels differently? Okay, so with that, then we're going to put this one to bed, and we will not do a department head screening board. That will be our recommendation to the Admiral. KB, anything on that one?
No, sir. I think that's a good move. We can wait to see to get a little bit more clarity on what we do with the roll downs or anything else with the lieutenant commanders. I think the way we're doing it is fine right now. I think it gives everybody an ample opportunity, at least from my time here. Most of the time, people that are not taking the key jobs, it usually has the word "I" involved in it for some personal reason. So I think everybody that has a good record, I kind of screen them myself, so kind of check and balance. But they are given an opportunity. Obviously, CAGMOs are picked by DCAG, pretty much, and the rest flows down.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So hey, that's kind of it from the agenda standpoint. Does anybody got any off-the-cuff business they want to bring up?
Trent, it's Chris. Just one. Several of you here today an invite for a social on the 29th here in the Hampton Roads area. That is the day prior to the NSS kickoff at Mid-Atlantic. So just take a look at that. You are certainly welcome to come. If we missed anybody that is planning on being in that area on the 29th of April this month, then let us know. We'll add you to the meeting maker.
Hey, Chris, you're hosting that, right?
Yes, we are hosting it along with Jeff Chown.
Hey, Jeff, you paying for mine?
Sure.
All right, we'll see you.
You count me in too.
It's Flash. I apologize. I just walked in the door, got back from Lemoore. Spent all week at 122, and I'm exhausted. But hey, I have a general question for the audience. Some of you are familiar with Dr. Tony Kern's convergence training, and I was curious to see if any of the FRCs have had folks go through that training, or you're willing to do that. Over. Okay, so
Hey, Flash.
what is the
Flash, it's Chris Couch. I have heard a little bit of this from Keith Nixon. So, you know, what he's explained to me, it does sound like it's a good tool. I certainly would be happy to entertain having some of folks go through that training if that's the desire.
So, real quick.
Flash, this is Brett. Nate and I both sat in the training with the Air Boss and had several of my divos and chiefs attended as well. So that level, that training was, to me, I thought was very good. I have not had a chance to sit through the other classes. I think Nate did sit through one other one, but like I say, I thought it was good information. Again, I don't think there's enough classes in order to be able to get the pure number of people done on the base before they move to Mid-Atlantic. But again, that's something that I know Nate is working to figure out for follow-on training for it. But I thought it was good training.
Yeah. Hey, Flash, this is Nate. So we have muster sheets that show what organization people were from. So I can have Ronnie look at those and give you a definitive answer on how many from the FRC attended. But it was broken down by organization. So, and Brett's right. The current contract has a limited scope, and Oceana's next, and it's a pretty small actually group, I think, relative. So, but yeah, it's out there. It's certainly through the Air Boss, and he enjoyed it very much and thought we'd be doing it for a couple more years. We'll see how that works out.
No, I appreciate it. In my opinion, if you touch an airplane, it's probably a good thing just to get your mind right. We recently had a ground mishap within the NAMC-10, and it was civilians working on the airplane. So I just throw that out. I think there's negotiations to do future training with that corporation, and or like you and I talked, Nate. Hey, we're the schoolhouse. We got this from here. Over.
Exactly. So we'll talk about it more. I actually meet with Admiral Kozad this afternoon, and then I think by May 8th, when they have the Aviation Flag Officer Symposium here in Pensacola, we'll all know more. All right, thanks.
Hey, Nate, Jeff Chown, real quick question for you. You mentioned the Oceana turnout was projected to be small. Is that because lack of people signing up, or is that just because lack of available seats for them to get into?
No, not the turnout, the available opportunities.
Okay, right. Copy.
So it's nothing about that. It's just what we contracted for. I think it was, 3,000. Anyway, it's to me, it's a relatively small number if you start putting FRC folks in the seats.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, I'm just not familiar with it. I'm curious, based on the subject, or based on the title, what the subject is, and see if it marries up with like Pandoran training or 4D or theory constraints analysis and all the other ones that we have, just to see if there's some tie-in that maybe it may not be the exact course, but it might be linked to one of the other ones that has taken place at the depots.
Yeah, so I'll just give you the overarching two-minute version, elevator speech. Basically, it's go into every single evolution assuming something is wrong. That's the going-in premise. Secondly is that everything will be pre-briefed and debriefed, and they have a little pre-brief and debrief 4 questions that the workers would ask themselves. and or their partners in the evolution. And then there's these never events, like, you know, putting the wrong oil in the reservoir, or, you know, crashing airplanes. These never events. And of those never events, it just highlights what they are, and that everyone is empowered to stop one of these never events. And that's pretty much the premise of the program. It's 2 hours of training for worker bees, and then or 3 hours for worker bees, and then 2 hours for supervisors and leadership. Over.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Hey, this is Darren Jones. I got one quick call out. Julie Lemon sent out a request for anyone that wanted to send in a, 60-second, 2-minute, 5-minute skit, whatever, just that we would piece together into a video presentation at Vice's retirement. We were looking for Faster, Funnier Southwest. Great job, Tony. You guys really, it's pretty funny. But the response has been somewhat limited. If you got time and you got some JOs that, have time on their hands and maybe want to put together a quick something, input would be appreciated.
All right. Thanks, Darren. And the intent is that this is more of a roast than a retirement, so it should be fun.
Yes, we think the crying, like the face-to-face, we're trying to keep that to a minimum, and we're hoping more funny.
Roger. Sounds good. Okay, Sam, you got anything to close us out with?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, so hey, everybody, appreciate it. For the new folks, welcome aboard. We will do this again at the next scheduled time. May change up the format just a little bit, probably not a whole lot, but a little bit, and then we'll get you an agenda out with topics that we're going to discuss for the next one. So unless somebody's got something, on a count of 3, we're being hanging up. All right, have a great weekend. Out.